Today's openings begin with Espresso Martini Stout from Good Neighbor Brewing Company in Winnipeg. No real tasting notes other than you should expect to taste the Arabica coffee beans and Tahitian vanilla and a bit of Kahlua. Ooh, interesting. Contains caffeine. Yeah, I would expect it does if it's got Arabica espresso beans in it. Oh yeah, that's going to keep me awake through my editing. That'll be fun. First thing in is it says connectors. Okay, that's a reasonable thing for me to have ordered. What do we have? It is more of those magnetic connectors. These little 3-pin magnetic connectors. The magnets are polarized, so they only go together one way. They hold quite securely, and it doesn't take much to get them to go together. And it looks like I got 10 sets of them. You may recall that these are the magnetic connectors that I used in this little project some months ago, which I thought was quite fun, so I got some more to expand it. Of course, you've already seen this on the channel, and if you haven't, I will put a link to it up there. I don't think I will be making a video expanding it because it'll be just more of the same. But that's why I got those connectors. Let's see where I got them from. 1 to 10 pieces, 2 amp DC magnetic pogo pin connector, 2-pin or 3-pin pogo pin male-female spring-loaded DC power socket. I got the 3-pin and I got 10 pieces of it, and I paid closer to $18 back in July, but now apparently they're going for $20. All right. That aside, they are just how I showed them to you. They are 3-pin, or you can get 2-pin variety as well. A magnetic connector. One of these magnets is a north, one's a south, and the opposite on the other side, so they always go together in just one way. The male pins are spring-loaded. The female pins are nice and flat, and they make a good solid electrical connection. Perfect for reconfigurable projects, or if you want your power connector to be able to be disconnected and reconnected easily and quickly. A little expensive, but there's very few other connectors that do this kind of a job, so I guess if the project warrants it, might as well. Off to a good start. Let's see what showed up from an anonymous donor in my P.O. box. Always fun to see what people are sending. It is a connector. Okay. It is looks like a magnetic coaxial connector, just the chassis side, not the cable end side. And that's... No, okay, it's just one end of it, and it's definitely magnetic. Okay, well, maybe some random anonymous package in the future will have the other side of this connector. In the meantime, it's a slightly different variation on the magnetic connector. Let's see if I can find this on eBay to give you a link. After a bit of searching, the best search terms I can come up with for this one are magnetic pogo pin connector 10 millimeter. Because that's what the one that I got is. It's 10 millimeters across. If you omit that part, it will give you basically the same ones that we just saw from the previous item. But just jumping into the listing for the cheapest one and selecting the 10 millimeter, it looks like a pair of them goes for about $9 Canadian, which is surprising. I'm going to assume that my anonymous benefactor picked this one up at auction for me, so probably paid less than that, but if you search around, you can often find something cheaper. All right, next thing, it's got a bit of weight to it. Doesn't seem to say what is in it, but it did get kind of abused in the mail on the way here, so what do we have? Oh, that looks like a PC power supply connector. All right. We got some standoffs and screws. Oh, okay. So that is, in fact, the 24 pin. PC motherboard connector. Looks like we've got some USB outputs there for power. Adjustable voltage screw terminals for the outputs, and output there. Power on off. And are you a voltmeter? You're probably a voltmeter. Oh, we have a potentiometer there. What else do we have? Some other stuff. Couple of 8-pin chips, some inductors and capacitors. That screams to me buck and or boost converters. And what are you up there? LM2596S. I don't recognize it, but paired with that potentiometer and I said another capacitor and inductor set, that's probably an adjustable buck or boost. And also we have a V-adjust output here. So I'm going to guess that that's what's going on. But let us see if we can find the listing for it and see what it really is. 20 plus 24 pin ATX power adapter, board power module adapter, adjustable voltage with red digital display support for PD2 or PD3. Oh. That's what's going on in this power supply-ish buck boost kind of world over here. Okay, I got the one with the shell, currently selling for $11.51. Though when you scroll down, you'll see other people selling a similar thing for less. Though when I bought it, it was, of course, the cheapest one available that I could find. Anyway, it pays to scroll around and look around. So it looks like this thing can generate various different voltages or take the various voltages that come from a standard 20 or 24 pin PC power supply and just break them out into various different voltages, put them on USB and other connectors. It says that it can even be turned on and off from a GPIO from a microcontroller, so you can turn the big power supply on for your that's powering the big power stuff from your project, and the microcontroller can be powered from a lower current supply, I guess. Okay. Or I suppose you could power your microcontroller from the 5-volt standby and then have it turn everything else on. That would be neat. Oh, okay. So it can either supply 12 volts out of the coaxial connector, or it can be used as an input up to 24 volts, and it will still, I guess, buck regulate down to all these other powers. Interesting. I'm going to have to play with this. Unfortunately, other than the computers that I have currently in use, I don't think I have a working PC power supply just sitting around. I'm going to have to go and see if I can salvage some from someplace, I guess. You'd think that I would have some kicking around here, but the only ones that I've got are marked DOA or NFG or variants on that theme. Oh well, I will test it at some point in the near future, and of course bring you guys along for the ride, because this looks like an interesting way to get a cheap bench power supply. Well, that was fun. Let's see what's next. It doesn't say. Okay. What do we have in here? Oh, 3 different packages of, looks like lenses for LEDs. That's what they are. So I've got 60 degree, and 30 degree, and 90 degree. All right, and these look like they would fit onto a standard 50-50 LED. Hang on for a moment. I'm not sure how good a demonstration this is going to be, but there is an LED with no lens on it. There is it with the 90 degree and the 60 degree and the 30 degree. Okay, so they are visibly different. That's neat. I'd have to adhere them on there somehow. And this is a pretty crappy little LED strip because the LEDs aren't on there straight, but I think it's pretty obvious that the beam width is narrowed. Those could come in handy for messing with, for creating neat little displays and whatnot. And I just hope I didn't pay too much for them. But I guess we will see in a moment here. LED lens reflector collimator for 50-50 SMD 30-60-90 degree convex optical lens reflector collimator. I guess that's creating a column. I don't know. Anyway, they come in 30, 60, and 90 degree lens angles. I got 50 pieces of each. 50 watts of each? What? Anyway, currently at this seller, they are going for $1.38 per 50 pack with some shipping, which you can combine if you're buying multiples. Anyway, there is the description. They have a 5mm aperture for the 50-50 LEDs, 93% transmission, so 7% reduction in your light level. There's the angles. They're made out of polycarbonate. And yeah, that's basically what they are. They aren't a reflector. I don't know if they're a collimator, a proper collimator, but you could see the effect of them, and used in a project, I think they would make for some interesting lighting effects. And now the last and largest and heaviest package in. This one's got some battery warnings on it, so I assume it contains some sort of battery. I wonder what kind of a product it is with batteries included. Oh, that looks like a Ryobi style battery charger and a battery. Okay, that was a long time ago when I ordered this. Well, the battery did arrive with some charge in it. It's nominally an 18-volt battery, and it's 17 point almost that. So that is cool. Let's see if it'll charge. The reason I ordered this, most of my battery-operated tools are Ryobi because they're the cheapest available. But their batteries, if you buy them alone, are horrendously expensive. So I figured I would see if any of these knockoff batteries are any good at all. Let's see what happens. I plug that into the charger. You have one solid light and one blinking light, which indicates that it is charging. All right. It's doing the job. I wonder how fast it's charging. So with no load on there, it's pulling about 1.3 watts. If I drop the battery in, it bumps up to 50 watts basically. Let's just watch it for a little bit here. Yeah, looks like it's pulling about 50 watts. So that will take some amount of time to charge this guy, because it claims to be 108 watt hours. Yeah, that's going to take a while, but that's okay. You don't really want to cook your tool batteries when you're charging them. But I don't know if that's actually going to be 6 amp hours or not by the time it's all said and done. But for now, it seems to be reasonable. If you're curious, I will take the charger and battery apart in a future video just to see what's going on in there. But in the meantime, I guess there's one other compatibility test that I could do. Yeah, okay. So it passes all the basic tests. Cool. 6 amp hour for Ryobi P108 18 volt 1 plus battery 18 volt lithium ion power tools, etc., etc., etc. Currently selling for $60.68 with another almost $20 shipping. Wow. When I bought it, it cost me a total of $58 with shipping and everything. So again, click around, search around. You never know what deals you're going to find. There's not a lot of information down here other than, just what they have. They sell a 3,000, 6,000, and 9,000 milliamp hour battery and 18 volts. Ryobi replacement battery, sure, and there's the chargers that it works with. Although, since it came with its own charger, that doesn't bother me. Other than that, there's no other real information down here. But we know what it is, and we will mess with it. This certainly will add to my tool battery collection, which is nice because most of the batteries I've got are only the 3 amp hour. So if this one actually is a 6 amp hour, then I should be able to run my weed whacker for the entire lawn without having to change batteries, which will be nice. Of course, I'm not going to be doing that for the next 6 months, but whatever. It'll work with the drills and saws and stuff too. And there is the contents of today's Mailbag Monday haul. Again, quite the variety. Mostly the usual cheapest things I could find. This guy's a bit of an exception, although it was the cheapest I could find. It is still way more than I normally spend on AliExpress, but it came through and it seems to do the thing. The battery itself does have the sort of weight I would expect for a 6 amp hour battery. There's no guaranteeing that the actual cells inside it are capable of doing that, but at least it seems to be full of, well, hopefully cells, gravity if nothing else. Anyway, I'll experiment with that later. Also got these 3 different sets of lenses for 50/50 LEDs, which is the typical LEDs that you find on LED strips. Also WS2812 LEDs, the addressable ones. So all kinds of different applications for those when I come up with an interesting optics project. I got a bunch of these 3-pin magnetic connectors. Just you saw the project that I've done with them before, so I just wanted to expand on that. And an anonymous donor sent me another different sort of magnetic connector. So that's an interesting thing to have. I may see if I can find some mating ones to put with that, as that one would rotate and it'd drop in any orientation. So that's kind of neat. And then we have this little power supply board. Either connects to a standard PC power supply, or you can just bring in anywhere between 12 and 24 volts into the barrel jack, and it will give you a bunch of different voltages to the output, including an adjustable one here. So that should be interesting to play with. And as I said, I don't have any functional PC power supplies kicking around right now other than the ones that are actually powering computers at the moment. But I will come up with something in the future, because I also have a computer project that I want to work on. I've got an old motherboard and a bunch of old components that I want to turn into just sort of a utility server, low power, stuffed in the corner kind of thing. So I will be grabbing myself a cheap power supply at some point in the future, and I will use that to demonstrate this when that time comes. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, thanks to the anonymous donors, to the YouTube channel members, and to the Patreon supporters who help keep the lights on, help keep the beer fridge full, help keep the mailbags rolling in. Appreciated all of it. And for everybody else, thanks for watching. Questions, comments down below as usual. I will talk to you later.